is going on, guys? Thanks for stopping by my little wristwatch addiction channel here. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Don't forget, I am giving away a watch at 2,500 subscribers. We're almost at 2,000. So if you haven't already subscribed, do that now. And if you are subscribed, hit the notification bell so you get the updates. I've noticed this last video, a lot of you guys did not watch. Could be because it was a Monchard watches video and you weren't interested. Could be because you didn't get that notification. So definitely click that notification bell. And if you enjoyed this, go ahead and hit like. I rarely ask you to do that. I'm going to ask you to do that today as I scratch my nose. Sorry, it's driving me crazy. Anyway, on to today. I did a review of this watch a while back, and then I also did a update where I sent it off to Omega, had them fully service it. I think it was called What You Get from Omega Service or something to that effect. I'll put the link below in the description. So I did that, and I got it back, and I absolutely love it. Well, my good friend Paul, that I did a review of his 36mm Seamaster Professional, he sent his off to our good friend Richard. I've done some of Richard's watches here. I'll put those links in the description as well. Check those out. He has a phenomenal collection of watches. But at any rate, this one had a new bezel, new dial. Paul had a new bezel and new dial installed in full service. I thought I would do sort of a comparison video, see what the full service looks like from a certified watchmaker versus Omega, and also see that watch in a little better detail, look at different things like the Lume and that sort of thing instead of a quick review. So hope you'll stick around. We'll be right back. Alright guys, so probably most noted wearer of the 36mm Seamaster Professional has to be Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge, given to him by his mother when he was young, Princess Diana. And this is it here. This one, my friend Paul's model, beautiful piece. This is pre-restoration, pre-service by our friend Richard. You can see it does have some issues. It has some wear on the dial. It has a little wear on the bezel, and it has been repolished. Picked it up. It looks like it's been pretty well polished all over. On the wrist, the 36mm works really, really well for me. I'm used to smaller watches between 35 and 40 millimeters, so I actually like this one a lot. I was actually one of the guys that convinced him to pick up the 36mm. I should have picked one up when I convinced him to do it, because now the price point has climbed to a point where, I don't know, there's plenty of other watches for less. You can see this gouge, this wear area on the bezel. Not enough for me to want to restore it, but like my Speedmaster, he wanted to. And this is the result. You can see the beautiful medium blue bezel, beautiful blue, dark blue Omega service dial under that sapphire crystal. And just amazing to look at these watches when they are in new condition. I like the new Seamaster Professional 300, but the vintage Seamasters, when restored, are just fantastic. You see the bright red on that second hand. Just looks like it just rolled off the assembly line. Now, this was not serviced by Omega. This was serviced by a certified watchmaker, our friend Richard. You've seen some of his watches on the channel. The Schumacher Speedmaster of his own. He actually built himself from parts. So beautiful watches. He's definitely qualified for this. You can see he has rebrushed and repolished this case and the case back, as well as the bracelet. Everything is back up to Omega specs. Looks almost brand new. Now, I don't know what Paul requested from Richard. I didn't ask Richard before doing this video, but knowing Richard, everything had to be perfect. So you can see even the hippocampus has been restored to original condition. We move this bezel. We now have a bezel that's nice and snug, no play. You can hear that 120 click. Clicking like it should, not like it did. Something I didn't do on the previous review that most reviewers don't bother with is this screw down helium escape valve. Find it fairly interesting tech, so wanted to show you how that worked. Literally screws down just like a secondary crown. We are unscrewing this crown. First click is going to give you date wheel access. Turn towards you. That date is centered within the date window like it should. Pull out one more time. Pull towards you. You have your time function. As we spin around, not the quickest time set, but very accurate to the touch. I'm going to go ahead and throw it back in, screw it down very simply. Threads feel secure, nothing feels rough, so I feel like he worked on that as well. Again, I don't know all he did other than just what I see visually. On the wrist, still fits amazing on my 6 3/4 wrist. You can see that brushed clasp. You can see the polished and brushed bracelet, the brush and polished case, and the new dial and the new bezel all build to a fantastic combo of a watch. I have zero complaints about this restoration. Again, it was in a pretty decent condition to begin with. I may not have chosen to update it, but like my Speedmaster, Paul chose to update it, and I don't fault him for him one bit. It looks fantastic. And in hindsight, I think it was the correct choice. Now, what all was done? Like I said, we changed the bezel, changed the dial, cleaned up the hands, cleaned up the case, the bracelet, the clasp, the buckle, all that sort of stuff. Now, time-wise, how long did it take? Well, let me fix this bezel back to 12 because it was driving me quite crazy, and we'll talk about that. So timeline, unfortunately, took about the same amount of time as it did for my Omega. My Omega was gone for months. This Omega was gone for months with Richard. So why is that? Well, part of that was getting the service dial and bezel. That took a lot of time. Waiting on Omega is excruciating, whether it's for them to service your watch or for a watchmaker to get parts from Omega. So that's part of the problem. Timeline-wise, there wasn't much of an advantage when we wanted to replace parts. Now, the service itself, the removing of the movement, the taking apart of the movement, the cleaning and oiling of the movement, that would have been much quicker. You can see he even brushed the internals of the clasp as well as this diver extension. Looks brand new, guys. So I'm very impressed. I have to say, I'm actually more impressed by it than I am from the service from the Omega service that was done on this Speedmaster automatic date. Is the automatic date service better or worse than the service you would get from a certified watchmaker? Well, I would tell you this. It purely depends on the certified watchmaker and what you request. Paul requested a full rejuvenation. I requested a full rejuvenation. What we both got back was very, very similar. Now, having said that, if service was all that was requested from Omega or from a certified watchmaker, I honestly have no idea. I've got it next to a SKX, so you can see the size comparison of this 36 millimeter, this mid-size. Something that most channels have not done is offer a size comparison. This one compared to the 42 millimeter Mark II Speedmaster, you can see definitely a smaller watch than both, but not as small as you would think given the pictures on Prince William. I love the midsize. I honestly think the midsize is a better choice than the full-size 40 millimeter or 41 millimeter for most people. Now, some may disagree, but taking it back inside, we can see this updated dial has its original lume. The updated bezel has its original lume. The cleaned up hands now have its original lume, and it looks fantastic. This has not been charged by anything but the sunlight from me taking a look at this watch outdoors. Now in full darkness, you can see how bright this thing is. This is why you would get a full service with a service dial and hands and bezel to get the full function of your wristwatch back. Some people don't want that. I get it. It affects the value for some vintage watches. But if you're going to own this watch and use this watch as a watch, this makes sense. It's why I did it for my Speedmaster. It's why Paul did it for his Seamaster. And I don't fault him one bit. It looks absolutely fantastic. Did he get a better deal by going through a certified watchmaker? Once again, that depends on the certified watchmaker. Through Richard, absolutely. Through a local mom and pop shop, I don't know, guys. You'd have to find out for yourselves. Omega is expensive. Certified watchmakers can be expensive. So definitely shop around for the best one who's going to do the best for your watch. Seen here with all the other size comparisons next to a certified Omega serviced Speedmaster. I don't know, guys. Did I make the right choice? Maybe I should have sent it to Richard. I think that's probably what I will do anytime I need service on my Omegas from here on. At any rate, thanks for stopping by, guys. Check out my Strapsco link in the description. Check out the Teespring store for some merch. And check out all the future videos. Love you guys. Appreciate you coming by. See you soon.